Hello, everybody. Well, first of all, my apologies for getting on a little bit late. We had some issues with the personal computer. Internet was not working properly, and so we've had to put things on hold, but the computer's working fine again. Internet's working fine, so we should be at our own confines pretty soon. But since my son's football practice will be beginning soon, I thought I would do my show on location, and we will have the college football 4-team playoff prediction right about now on September the 2nd. My number one seed at the end of the season for the semifinal, well, they're going to be shocked. It's Ohio State, okay? The Scarlet and Gray, I think, coming up that national championship season, 15 starters back. It doesn't matter who they have at quarterback. They can't go wrong with Barrett or with Jones and Ezekiel Elliott running back. He could very well win the Heisman. And on the defensive side, Joey Bosa, even though I know he won't play in the opener, one-game suspension. But still, I think Ohio State will survive at Virginia Tech. Most of their games are tailor-made. There is the Michigan State game at the end of the year, and of course the rivalry game with Michigan and the Big Ten championship game. But I do think it will be a 13-0 regular season, tailor-made for Ohio State to making a semifinal appearance in Miami or in Arlington, where the two semifinal games are being played. Number 2 seed, and this one was a tough one because, Baylor and TCU are so loaded coming back, especially offensively. But Baylor has a little bit more back on the defensive side. Not as many players to replace. TCU has 6 players on the defensive side to replace. Even though I know the game will be in Fort Worth at the end of the year, I think Baylor will win at Fort Worth against TCU, and Baylor's non-conference schedule is easy. And as long as Baylor can run the table and be a perfect 12-0, remember they don't have to worry about a conference title game. I think the Bears and the Big 12 will get the benefit of the doubt this time, and I think Baylor will be the number 2 seed. Number 3 seed I have coming out of the SEC, not Alabama. I think they'll lose twice, so I think that's too many losses. Georgia, I think, will have a solid year and make it to the SEC championship game, but I don't think they will beat Auburn. I think Auburn, with a lot of players coming back, and Gus Malzahn, the great job he's done in recruiting from where Gene Chizik took off. I think last year was just an aberration for the Tigers. I do think that they will win the SEC. SEC will get a lot of love, as it doesn't matter who comes out of the SEC, they're going to get a bid. And I think Auburn will get the number 3 seed. I do think they'll lose one game during the regular season, probably against somebody that you're not expecting, but I don't think it'll cost them in the end. Number 4 seed. Do I go with a non-major? No. Even if Boise State were to run the table, the committee is not going to give them the benefit of the doubt. I mean, this college football playoff committee, the whole thing was really to make the Power 5 conferences stick out. Unfortunately, the group of 5 conferences, like the Mountain West, for example, it would take, several conference champions from the Power 5 to have 2 losses, even if Boise State were to run the table for the Broncos to get in. So I think Boise State, they'll get a major bowl bid, but it won't be one of the 2 semifinal games. And Notre Dame, if they go 11-1, perhaps, but I think they're going to lose twice. I think the Irish will lose to Clemson and lose to USC. I think they'll win 10, but 10-2, even though Notre Dame will have a tough schedule, it's still, I don't think, will win out unless they win at least 11 games. If they win 11, then we can talk. And that's why I'm going to be leaning right now, not toward the ACC, because I don't think the ACC is going to have an unbeaten team. And I think overall that conference, you can make an argument between them and the Big 12 as far as who's the weakest of the 2. I think as far as the Big 12, though, they have TCU and Baylor, 2 top 5 teams. And the ACC right now does not have that. So I think the ACC will have to go undefeated, and I don't see that happening. Their representative, whether it's Florida State, Clemson, or Georgia Tech, I just don't think they're going to be able to get a resume, with a win-loss total great enough to be a top 4 candidate. So the Pac-12, it's going to come down to 2 teams, Oregon or Southern Cal. And even though Oregon, I think, will win the regular season game, I think the Pac-12 championship in Santa Clara will go to Southern Cal. And I think USC, with Kessler back at QB, throwing for nearly 4,000 yards a year ago, and defensively returning almost every starter from that team, I think USC, the Reggie Bush saga, that may never be forgotten, but at least they're back on full scholarships with 85, so they'll have quality depth to go with that talent that they already have. And I think Sarkisian's squad will be the number 4 seed for the playoffs. I've got Ohio State playing USC in one semifinal, with Ohio State winning, and in the other semifinal, I'm going to say Auburn beats Baylor for Baylor's first and only loss of the year. So the national championship game in Glendale, Ohio State, Auburn. I could see Auburn playing Ohio State tooth and nail because the SEC is just that talented. But Ohio State, they're the defending national champions. Urban Meyer knows how to win games, and I think they'll find a way to come from behind in the fourth quarter to beat Auburn. So Ohio State in a tight win over Auburn and Glendale, and that is my national championship pick. No shock, the Buckeyes of Ohio State to win it once again. That is my look, my predictions at what I think will happen come late December, early January. Ohio State, Baylor, Auburn, and USC. Those are my top 4, 1-4, with Ohio State beating Auburn in Glendale. Thanks, everybody. And don't forget, too, I will have a few more team reports. Oklahoma will be my next one, and so will TCU. So I know TCU has a game coming up at Minnesota pretty soon. So OU and TCU will be my next 2 reports, and then we'll wrap it up with USC, Baylor, and Auburn. Thanks, everybody.